chilly Northeast, where Big East women's basketball takes center stage at Gamble Pavilion. Big East basketball is sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. Top-ranked UConn Huskies, a perfect 8-0, and looking to keep the good times rolling. The DePaul Blue Demons, though, in town from the Windy City, hunting for a big-time upset. And year one have to be back healthy, while the UConn Huskies have a lot of familiar faces in their starting lineup. They've been consistent throughout the course of the season. As we get you set for tip-off here in Storrs, Connecticut, a packed house, electric atmosphere here for the 28th all-time meeting between these two programs. Ball is up, still up for grabs, and a jump ball right off the tip, Kim.
Yeah, I was going to say they're just going to have to re-jump, I guess, because
re-jump.
there's no arrow at this point.
We'll try it again. Take two. Batted way into the backcourt for the UConn Huskies. Ashlyn Shade brings it under control, and we are off and running here with UConn taking on DePaul. The Huskies come in 1-0 in Big East play. Still the early going here. Unique to have some of these conference matchups in December as Fudd, a little nice fake. Off iron, Fudd puts in her own miss. Getting his coach in women's college basketball, you could list off his accolades for days. An 8-time Naismith National Coach of the Year. And how about a coach, or a player rather, of the year candidate, and Sarah Strong getting it going from the outside.
And that's a miss on the execution there. Easy fall with the steal. And the steal.
Off and running figuratively and literally, as AZ Fudd is off to a strong start now with 4 of the first 7 points for UConn. Mentioned her playing extremely confident and aggressive so far this season, deciding to return for a graduate student campaign instead of opting to go to the WNBA. Shade from beyond the arc, off iron. Board brought in by Sarah Williams, the big Wisconsin transfer, huge addition on the interior for this UConn program this season. Arnold gets to the cup and gets the friendly roll. Arnold fired up after the fact.
Sue Bird's 12-year-old niece, because in her speech she said her 12-year-old niece was more excited to watch today's game to see AZ Fudd than she was to see her aunt's jersey go into the rafters.
Right on cue.
Shot, but she's good to go, bringing it up the floor.
Arnold, one of the players stepping into a bigger role for this UConn Huskies team this season, as Williams puts it up off the glass for 2. Go Shade the board. Arnold pushing pace. Lobs over the top, Strong with the beautiful finish.
As comes off the bench, playing about 17 minutes per game, he said, I'd like to get that up to 22, 23. It's more of her silly fouls that are taking her out of the game.
Right on cue, Quinones cuts through the lane.
Kate Novick with the strong take.
Fudd from beyond the arc, splashes it in. That between the first and second quarters, one would imagine. But a 5-second difference here between the game clock and shot clock. Fudd steps beyond the arc, and Fudd cannot miss.
You know, what I would describe it as is just a belief in themselves that really stuck out, even though they had only won the one championship. And that remained. And I think when you come here and you're challenged by people that are confident in what they're doing, it really just eventually brings out the best in you. And that's how I describe my time here. But the relationships themselves, they obviously evolve through the years. You know, Coach and CD, they kind of go from parental figures to then they're like your cool aunt and uncle. You know, now he's a grandpa, so I guess he's that.
As you've gotten to maybe watch this team, I know you mentioned you haven't met all the players until this trip, but what sticks out about the way that this year's team is built as Fudd right on cue does what you've been doing so often?
Now, but even the next couple of years is going to be super fun.
Yeah.
And Sue, we got to hear your speech before the game, and you talked about just the growth of these games being on TV. We did give your niece a shout out, by the way.
We did, yeah.
Zoe. Be valued. So then I get sent off into the world, and it's like, wait, people like this. Why are you acting like they don't? And you know, the next 20 plus years of my basketball career was a lot about making sure people understood that there was value. Like, we weren't looking at it difficult. So it's really wonderful that people like my nieces, little girls like my nieces, get to watch whenever. Graduating at 21, you could maybe find an extra year of eligibility now with how old these players are. They're coming in at 21. I know, it's crazy. I could use some of that NIL money too, though.
Right?
Not gonna lie.
What would you have like a dream local NIL partnership in Storrs?
Yeah, back then it it would have been fast food.
Another cool part about the growth that we've seen in the game is so many legends like yourself, Sue, continuing to pay it forward. You're invested in the Seattle Storm. Today, though, with second quarter action, again, all UConn here so far, as there's the disruptive defense on display again. This time, Heckel with the steal, going the other way.
Yeah, there was a flurry of points there as we were talking to Sue. What a captivating conversation that was. But UConn now up to 26 points off of turnovers.
Jenna Alfie.
Floor, we mentioned with the personnel, the depth, they're able to press you really for the entire game if they want to. So much pressure on the perimeter.
Shade. Oh, great pass. Alfie finishes the play. Raises up, rattles out.
Really solid defensive possession from DePaul, but Police Fisher forces yet another turnover and puts it in for two.
Time break. Fisher again. This time denied by Hagman. Heckel for three, yes!
A tremendous option as another point guard coming in off the bench. She brings that defensive intensity that Gino has spoken so highly of, and then she can attack just like that.
19 of them in the first half.
Yeah, and that had to have been the lead topic of conversation in Jill Pizzotti's DePaul halftime locker room speech. Sarah Williams gets one going early.
For the most part today, as Novick backs it away, although this DePaul team as a whole has quite the hole to dig out of. Arnold on the drive, so aggressive with the left hand.
Defending without fouling, because UConn got into the bonus very early to start the game. Oh wow, Sarah Strong with the cut. UConn has come out in this second half in a zone. Sarah Williams, not sure what to do with it.
But not in for Novick. Arnold pushing. Strong on the run. Great pass. Shade makes the most of it. Tic-tac-toe for the UConn Huskies. The forward out of Durham, North Carolina, as we've talked about, able to score, able to rebound, stuff in the stat sheet in really every category with that versatility as Williams continues to stuff the stat sheet. He's playing for this Huskies team in the starting lineup, but playing alongside a player like Strong versus her role at Wisconsin was really the primary score, and number one option is Strong. It's the and one opportunity.
She impacts every category of the game as she makes all of her teammates around her better.
Blanca Quinones back into the game. The freshman has been fantastic for the Huskies.
Paul, I liked them pushing pace a little bit, little give and go action.
Oh, but you gotta like that pass. Quinones with a connection to Kaylee Heckel.
She's looking for her shots. That's what Jill Pizzotti needs. They need more scoring, not just in this game, but across the last couple.
Devoria with 8 points, which is now a season high for her. As Ali Sabel puts up 2 for the UConn Huskies.
The 10 jersey just in time for her career before it would be retired forever starting today.
That was during Bird's speech as a part of the ceremony as Williams puts up another 2. Really seems to be finding a groove here. Of nearly 33 points in the NCAA tournament. And this year they returned 2 of their stars in Strong and Fudd and seemingly have gotten deeper than they were even 1 year ago.
Ooh,
show what she can do on the block.
I guess that was insane. And then that LSU team is the question mark because they haven't had too much competition yet, but they're averaging over 100 a game.
What a block. Quinones showing what she can do on the defensive end as well.
And DePaul, we were talking about set break. Their main point of focus was taking care of the ball. They've done that much better in the second half, but too much UConn firepower regardless of who's coming in the game. He did get toppled down and she got up like a champ.
Fisher again, another freshman, and good to see some of the freshmen getting minutes. That time, though, it's Alfie, the redshirt sophomore center. UConn as healthy as they have been, really, in the last couple of years. Taking away another steal. Oh, what a pass, and Heckel finishes the play.
I always applaud players and coaching staffs when players are continuing to play exceptionally hard despite what the scoreboard may read. DePaul's doing that. And Kaylee Heckel having herself quite the game here. We mentioned they had 19 turnovers, so they've certainly cleaned it up here in the second half, which is the progress you hope to see out of a halftime speech.
Heckel on the drive. Good pass, and the finish goes down for Patterson.
Kaylee Heckel showing she's a scorer. She is a creator, unselfish, looking for her teammate on that one. Nice minutes for Patterson to try to get her feel back a little bit. She missed 2 full seasons with 2 different injuries.
Yeah, serious shoulder and knee injuries, both requiring surgeries, which could be enough to cause some players to hang it up. But not Patterson and not Heckel, who continues to score.
Texas, UCLA. I mean, they bounced back from that loss to Texas. Huskies keep pouring it on.
Fans on their feet here at Gamble Pavilion. Shot clock violation. UConn running out the clock. Last 3 to go. DePaul trying to put up the last shot. That comes up short into the hands of Devin Hageman, and that'll do it. The UConn Huskies storm to a dominant victory, 102-35 over the DePaul Blue Demons. UConn now 9-0 in this 2025-26 season.